be the world's shortest ever stream because I'm waiting for a tree surgeon to arrive. I thought he was going to arrive about 50 minutes ago, so possibly not arriving at all. Or maybe he'll be here in the next 10 minutes. But until then, let's see what's what. Oh, I've got a bunch of sunflower seeds that need to be tipped. I've got a field of sunflowers being harvested, and I've got a field of sugar beet being harvested by a sugar beet harvester that'll do 200 miles per hour, which is nuts. But anyway, it gets the job done, eh? Let's have a little look at the piggies, see how they're doing. They're still a bit short of straw. I think we could go and get them a little bit more straw. Takes quite a long time, 8,000 litres at a time. Eggs, good. Eggs, good. Oh, look who's here. Quite nice if it only offered to unload stuff that you actually have. Would that be a good thing? I think it might be. Now I suspect I don't need to provide a turning space at this end because there's all this empty space. But I've put 4 or 5 rows of turning space in at the other end. So we'll see how it goes. And this chap here is a busy fellow too. Now then, we'll just do this bit that hasn't been defoliaged because I made a mistake, sort of unsurprisingly really, in that I defoliaged half the field and it won't go at top speed if the foliage has been taken off. I mean, look at that, it's ridiculous. Lots of the field is as yet unharvested because it goes at a different speed when the top's been taken off. Anyway, we'll sort it out. It will be sorted comfortably here. Let's whip this up to the piggles. Shall we do right side tip? That'll be fun. It's a very flexible trailer, this. Even though it's articulated. I don't approve of articulated trailers because they're too hard to reverse. Very nice. Another 8,000 litres. Animals 240, 98% health. That's because some of them are young and they haven't yet built up to 100% health. There's plenty of food. There's a lot of slurry. They've got plenty of water, they've got plenty of straw, and there's no separated manure. I don't quite know what that's all about. You'll be unsurprised to hear. Straw and water are all fine. They've got enough food, I guess, to get them through the next month. We'll see them later. %65% full. This fella's just ripping through this last little segment. You can see this is all very nicely done. And then we've got to track down the bits that haven't been done, which is, I suspect, easier said than done. Crikey. Does hammer along. 25 miles an hour is no speed really to be doing any farm job. Now then. I need to see where the tops start. Here we go. So I'm inclined to keep going this way, up and down. What I'll do is I'll polish off this section here, and this will only go at 6 miles an hour if set to a worker. It goes faster if you do it yourself. So if we tidy up this piece, then we can go side to side on the field, I think. I need to create a strip on the other side. Well, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we didn't fill the machine up for a second time. Okay, so that has bugged out early because it thinks it's not got enough room to turn around. So we're going to need to just create enough space for it so that that stops being a problem. See, if I drive it myself, it goes at full speed. And it reckons that it needs, you know, this much room. Cool. To turn around in. And I'm going to turn the auto on here because I want to see how much room it thinks it needs on the other side. Turn on auto. I mean, hire a worker. That's what I mean. Sorry, still waiting for my tree surgeon to come. Seems to be fine with that amount of space, which is great. Let's clean up this piece. That was a little noise. OneDrive memories, that noise was. Ooh. This machine is ridiculous. I don't think we're going to have this again. Or if we do, we'll have it set up slightly differently. So, there should just be a relatively simple chunk left. It's a bit messy. There's no denying it's a bit messy, but let's see if I can just set this thing up to run automatically. we'll see how we get on. I keep being distracted from this very important harvest here. $10,000 litres of sunflower seeds. Put this chap away. There we go. Very good. A little strip here has been missed. It needs ploughing because it's a root crop. Every time you plant a root crop, it says it needs ploughing. So that'll be fine. This is where it's turning here, I think. Might be good to rip this strip off. Might well be good. Woo! Doing donuts in a £500,000 machine. What fun. Wow. There we go. Quite a big chunk of sugar beet left to do. I think this one might finish the field before it needs emptying again. It's only 9:45. I think we can put time back to... It hasn't been as stressful as I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd be needing to have 2 sets of arms and legs to deal with everything, but actually it's been pretty straightforward. We're going to plant the whole thing with maize. The reason we're planting the whole thing with maize is because it's currently December, amazingly. And maize's peak price is June. So I'm hoping that we can get it all planted, the whole farm planted in January and ready to go. And then that the maize will be ready to harvest by June, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And then we'll be able to sell it straight off the field. That's the hope. We will see how we're doing here. Ploughing through it. Not literally, of course. It's always a little bit unfortunate when this tiny amount is left. It's claiming it's all done. It's not all done. Needs something done, you've got to do it yourself. Doings. Right, going to. I can give the combine back. Oh. And go and put my sunflowers into storage. I can pop this away. So I think we'll probably mulch these fields. That's what I think. So this is chuntering away still. This field's going to take a little bit of work because it will need to be ploughed. Which the other ones don't need to be because we can direct drill the others. There are bits unharvested bits. Now, may not be worth quibbling over. Just plough it all in. So this field has weeds growing. The pH value is good. So these fields can be mulched. And we'll do that with the Fent. This is going to break these stalks up, increase the organic matter going back into the soil. Soil bacteria will break it down to release nitrate, which is a vital plant fertilizer, and also potassium, phosphorus, magnesium. Magnesium's needed for chlorophyll. So all good stuff. Should help the worms. Gives them lots of food to drag into the soil. And of course we're going to cultivate it, but we'll cultivate it as we drill it. And that will further incorporate all this brash into the ground, helping to nourish it. We'll see if it can do a couple of widths of its own. Everything seems happy over here. We might struggle to get it all in, even though it's got a storage of a rather ridiculous 250,000 litres. Nice machine though, isn't it? Quite a thing. Then how are we doing here? Let's spin around. Come down this side. There we go. If we do 3 widths, that will give lots of turning space. Not that it particularly matters in this case, because it doesn't matter. This doesn't matter what you turn on. It doesn't matter. It's just stubble. So we'll say 2 is enough. I try to leave enough space so that things like combines don't drive on the crop when they turn around at the end. But this doesn't matter if you drive on this because it is stubble. So 2 will be enough. Quite get to the end there. Let's overlap a bit and whiz up to the top. Which worker have we got today? Ah, he looks like a nice chap. I'm keen on this idea that you should be able to go and select and design your workers just the same way that you design your own appearance, and that you can have your top 3 workers. You rarely need more than 3, and then you can have a little backstory for each of them. You can have your young, just out of college, kind of agriculture college graduate. You could have an older guy who's been working on the farm forever. You could have somebody, I don't know, overseas work experience person, and it would just, help with the narrative, perhaps. Perhaps that's a load of nonsense. Perhaps that's the worst idea in the history of ideas. As it is, you just get assigned a sort of random bod. Who have we got this time? It's the same person. Maybe I'm completely wrong. You don't get assigned a random bod. Perhaps you get assigned the same one to do the whole job. Not very much left to do, although there is some tidying up to do. I might take over at this point because then we can go at high speed. Let's turn around. Oh, I missed a bit. Little bit here that we might tidy up. Oop. That's all good. And we've got a strip here. I realise I've neglected my mulcher whilst I'm doing this. A little bit here. A little bit here. If we drive diagonally across the field, will we spot every patch that we've missed? Possibly we will. I hope this doesn't make you feel seasick. It's making me feel quite seasick. I would say seasick, but probably car sick or beet harvester sick. Let's do another diagonal. And we can look left and right. See if there are any big, significant patches we've missed. I don't think there are. I do think it'd be quite fun to get up to top speed in this thing, since it does 200 miles an hour. You know, and this is a nice field to just do some donuts in. Got to take advantage of it. Accelerating, can I get up to 100? .95 seems to be the max that I can get to there. Let's pop down to the farm and pop these beets into the. Let's pop these beets into the silo. Oh, it's going to be sad to say goodbye to this monster. Sorry about that. Just checking, see if there was any sign of a tree surgeon. I see no tree surgeons. How you doing up here, mate? Let's come on. Oomph. Okay, I think we've done enough upsidey-sidies. Let's do upsy-downsies. And call it a day. Right, let's take this beast home. Get on the... Oh! I spun it. Let's get onto this main road. Okay. I'll go down here as far as I can go. And then we'll gun it. See if we can get up to 100 miles an hour between now here and the shop. This is the road. This is the road we want. That was the wrong road. That ended too soon. This is the one. It's a nice long straight one. Okay. Oh. Okay. I think enough of this nonsense. Time to give it back. I hope I haven't done too much damage to it. Gone. Happy times. Now then, we're going to need a seeder because we're going to direct drill into here. It does say weeds are growing, which is interesting. So my little mulchy doings hasn't worked unless it's because they aren't developed enough before I mulched them. Let's just whip over to this field where I was thinking that maybe I was going to be able to get away without doing any weed control. So I let the weeds grow and then I mulched over here, and the weeds have not grown back a month later, and it doesn't say weeds are growing. Whereas here, I mulched before the appearance of any weeds, so maybe that's not going to have an effect. What we do need here is some lime, so we'll pop some lime on. And we'll check on the lime situation. May need to do every field. Get some lime. £1,800 worth, not too bad, I suppose. What's the lime situation like over here? Only needs a tiny amount. What about in the big field over here? I did lime it last time, so it doesn't look like there's a huge lime requirement. So we will just check out this big field, which did seem to suggest that there might be a little bit of lime shortage here. Well, it's not huge, but we'll I wonder whether we wait until the mulching is finished. Maybe we will. I think we'll end up getting in each other's way, which would be a shame. We need to think about what we're going to plant with. We have used every single time so far this planter here, which is inexpensive, 10 meters width, seeds and fertilizes. Only needs 170 horsepower to pull it, so easy peasy, but it only plants maize, sunflowers, soy, beet and cotton. Whereas something like this, which requires a little bit more grunt to pull it, it's 11 meters wide. This one's 13.4, that one's 80 meters, that's too big. This one here will plant pretty much anything. And it appears to be able to be branded. Does it cultivate as well? Yeah. So what does it cost to lease? £10,000 to lease it. And I'm going to, potentially do the whole farm with it. So it would be a reasonable sum of money to spend. I mean, I've got money in the bank. I could buy the thing, but the other thought is that we could buy two. We could buy one of the other seeders and lease this, one of the other planters and lease this one, and then we could have two vehicles planting at the same time, which would speed the process up. I think I'm going to wait till next month. I'm going to wait till January to plant, which is a bit of a risk because it means stuff might not be ripe by June. But I'm quite keen to see if we can get away without using weed killer by mulching the weeds on the other two fields. Having said that, that big field needs ploughing, whatever. So we're not going to bother mulching that if we're going to plough it, are we? I might leave this here and go and grab the plough and plough that big field. I'm going to plough the field and scatter the good seed on the land. Oh yeah. Well, that's going to take a reasonable chunk of time to do, I think. Who's driving? Have we got somebody reliable? Oh yeah, we've got him. He did a very good job in the last place. So, progress is being made. That's what I would say. Just attending to some admin. Let's see how we're getting on here. I think that's enough. Let's go this way. And we'll do that whole funny wedge-shaped top end of the field bit. I do love JCB. They're just very beautiful machines. I remember we had one visit us on the farm, and it was parked on the farm for a couple of days. We didn't get to use it. You know, there was a JCB driver. We were knocking down a barn or something, and I can remember lying on the bonnet, fully stretched out. It was, you know, it was classic um, JCB with a front end loader and a articulated digger at the back. What do they call those in America? With the they call it a with the digger at the back. I can't remember what the name is for it. Anyway, it was so huge, and I mean I was only 7 or 8, but I was fully stretched out, lying on the bonnet in the sunshine. I'm guessing it was probably 1976, 1977, something like that. Long hot summer, and I was completely stretched out on the bonnet, and I just couldn't believe that any machine could be so massive. Of course, now things are even bigger. I visited a quarry the other day, and they had these absolutely vast dump trucks that moved the stone around. And the guy who was giving us the tour had worked in some big quarries, sort of big South American quarries and the like. And he was very dismissive of these things that to me were just absolutely vast. He said, "Pah, you know, you ain't seen nothing, mate," which is almost literally true. Right, I think I'm going to leave him to get on with that. Go and see how we're doing here. We're not far off having finished over here. I shall take over for a bit. And make a mess of it immediately, as is my wont. Both my wont and my will. I was just suddenly thinking whether I'd got the cruise control set on the JCB. I probably had it set for 12, didn't I? Which is probably faster than it's going. But I might just, when I've done this, I might just go back and check, because we don't want the machine to be held back. Now that I've done this field, I think I won't do the next field because I want to wait and see. I want the weeds to grow and see what happens, whether we can kill them by mulching them. But I will put lime on this field. Just had a message from my friend Steve. Made me jump. I'd forgotten that I've got WhatsApp running on that PC. I've got my French WhatsApp running on this PC. I have English WhatsApp and French WhatsApp, because I'm very fortunate in that I am running 2 mobile phones. So therefore I can have one machine linked to one mobile phone, my French pay-as-you-go mobile phone. What's going to be tricky is remembering to pay when I'm back in England and not using the phone. Because if I stop paying, I'll lose my phone number. Probably lose my phone number. I might be able to convince them to hang on, as long as I use the same people. As long as I use SFR, I'll probably be able to hang on to it. But still, all right. I'm just going to mute my microphone and mute my camera for a bit and just check, see what my friend Steve wants. was all pretty important stuff. He's just tried a new craft beer and really likes it. You know, there's little that's more important in life than sharing the fact that you've tried a new craft beer and found it to your taste. He's also getting his 15-year-old boys into it. A little sip. They're very sensible chaps. It's funny how this texture's gone this sort of grey colour. Mixture of the mulched stalks and the lime. How are we going over here? Well, as usual, we're missing bits, but not perhaps huge bits. So this is really ready to be drilled tomorrow. I don't need to do anything more. I'm going to do a strip down the side. So you can see there's only a tiny tweak in the pH. pH is a measure of acidity. So the ground was registered as being 5.6, so slightly acidic, and it's being brought up to about 6 point something. So there we go. It says so loamy sand. So this is not particularly good soil because this is sandy soil with a bit of loam. Is going to be optimally performing at about a pH of 6. That's what the precision farming boffins say. So that you just add a little bit just to tweak it. It's not about it being neutral. It's not about making it alkali. But the kind of ranges of pHs that you're likely to encounter are shown there. 4.5, extremely acid soils. That would be a sort of peaty soil. Through to something very chalky at 8.25, so at the mildly alkaline end of the scale. With, as I'm sure you know, pH 7 being neutral, i.e. neither alkaline nor acid. And this is probably powdered limestone, I would think, rather than, well, it might be slaked lime, it might be calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is a stronger alkali. Strictly speaking, calcium carbonate isn't an alkali because it's insoluble. If you were to put limestone, powdered calcium carbonate on, it reacts with the acid and produces carbon dioxide, which of course is a greenhouse gas. So you wouldn't want to do that if you could help it. But it might be cheaper. I mean, there's no way around it, because in order to create lime, slaked lime, you have to take calcium carbonate and heat it, and that gives off carbon dioxide, and then you get calcium oxide left behind as the thermal decomposition product. And then you slake it, you add water, and it reacts with the water to produce calcium hydroxide. So, one way or another, the carbon dioxide in the limestone is going to be released. Perhaps it's least released by spreading it as a fine powder onto the ground where not all of it will react. than by heating it up in a kiln where all of it will decompose and give off carbon dioxide. These are things that would be easy enough to Google, I suspect, in terms of finding out the answer. What's happening here? I'm just going to quickly nip off these little imperfections. Minor imperfections. But whilst I'm here, let's sort them out. There'll be more, but they'll be at this end of the field, and they'll take less time to sort if there are fewer of them. Lovely. I like this chopped leaf look. I think it's smart. I may as well take out these little imperfections as well at this end while I'm here. It is perhaps petty to worry about it. Maybe there's no perhaps. Perhaps there's no perhaps. Maybe it's just petty. Little So that little frown there was just because I've remembered that I need to go and take care of some admin. It's a bit annoying that this tree surgeon chap hasn't arrived, but I think at the 1 hour mark I will call it a day, and maybe if there's an opportunity later on to finish off December, I will do that. But for now, farewell.